Welcome back to your power station. You are still tuned into the conversation Sentiment. That is with EconoChat. Let's talk business with Daniel Steinmann. He is an economic analyst and the editor of the Economist as well. Like I mentioned before the break, you can always check out the episodes. This is episode 6. This is week 6. All right. So you can check out the previous episodes on www.economistnamibia.com.na and as well as Energy 100 FM Namibia on YouTube as well. Yes, before the break we were talking about
sentiment.
It's still the very same conversation. You were gonna get into something very specific with regards to the institution.
Way that perception determines the value of assets in financial markets.
That's right. How does that happen?
We were busy talking about the brewery share about 12-13 years ago, NBL. Listed on the Namibia Stock Exchange, and in the presentation of their financial results, I think the share price at that time was about $7.40. I made the observation that this share price does not reflect the value that you have just shown me. Black on white figures, columns, rows of it, spreadsheets, and they agreed. It was my friend Lionel Matthews, and he was the financial director there. And he said, yes, but we don't know why. And it was mostly because of sentiment. And it was mostly at that time because of the beginning of the relationship between the breweries, NBL and Heineken, and their attempts to penetrate the South African market with Windhoek Lager as a local brand, which in South Africa, we drink Windhoek Lager as the common beer. Windhoek and Tafel are the two beers that we drink. In South Africa, it is marketed as a premium beer, which it is not really, but it's competing in that Amstel type of market.
Yes.
You know, so for you and for me to understand it, we have to view it in such a way that the South Africans think it's a fancy beer. I'm not saying we don't think it's not a fancy beer. I'm just saying it's our popular beer.
Yes.
We don't debate the merits of Windhoek Lager or Tafel Lager. We just drink it. We don't drink anything else.
Yes.
You see, that's very important. So because of the difficulty of launching Windhoek Lager in the South African market, in that upper 5% segment of the market, the premium market, the perceptions locally were negative. And because of those negative perceptions, that, let's call it poor sentiment, that reigned amongst the institutional investors. So they did not really want to buy more than a certain quota of brewery shares. And that kept the share at a certain value. Now, Nashawn, the rest is history. We don't need to market Windhoek Lager in South Africa anymore.
Yeah.
It's an established brand.
Yes, it is.
It's still viewed as a premium brand, but in terms of the sales and everything, it has come a very, very long way. It is now a massively powerful brand in South Africa.
Yeah.
So that strategy of the breweries was very successful. And over the years, the marriage between NBL and Heineken had its ups and downs, and then it was on the rocks, and then it was carrying on, and then they sold this and that, and they worked together. So it was like the normal process in any two big companies that enter new territory together.
Yes.
You know, getting married is difficult enough if you stay in the house that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Getting married and moving into a new house is 10 times more difficult.
Yes.
And this is what happened. And now we get back to where we were in the previous part, or the first part of our conversation. 3 weeks ago, breweries put out a cautionary. And they said, we're busy with something. Immediately, now remember, it's not 15 years ago anymore.
Yeah.
The share price has gone up to, I think, there, $28, $29. It's more than 4 times what it was 12 years ago.
Yes.
It's doubled and doubled
again. Yeah.
Based on the success of Windhoek Lager in the South African market. And many other things. I'm reluctant, or I'm careful not to oversimplify the brewery's journey in the South African market. It was full of complexity, and there were many reasons why it took so long. But to boil it down, or to cut it into small chips so that you and I can understand what we're dealing with here, this cautionary said, and this cautionary is just what it says, it cautions everybody who wants to buy NBL shares, either on the JSE or on the NSX, cautions you need to watch out. We're busy with something, and this something can have an impact, a material impact is the jargon, on the share price. So it says, be careful. You may gain or you may lose some of your money.
Yes.
And we can't, it's like an indemnity.
Yeah.
We're warning you that we're busy talking to somebody. We can't tell you right now what it is, but don't be reckless with your investment. Sit back a little, wait and see where we're going. And then this week, Monday, I don't want to say they dropped a bombshell, but they did.
They did, actually.
They did.
Who saw it coming?
Well, a few of us knew what was going on, but I mean, outside the people the analysts community, everybody who drinks Windhoek Lager did not know a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't know what we're busy with.
Nothing at all.
So, on Monday, they dropped this bombshell. Heineken, the big, I think second biggest beer brewer worldwide after SAB Miller. One of the top 5. And the partner of the breweries for many years now is taking over the remaining part of the shareholding. That's 50.1%, which they did not have, which will now, through a shell, a shell just simply means a shell. It's like it's a holding company.
Yeah.
So it's an entity between Heineken, South Africa, and Namibia Breweries Limited.
Yeah.
So they're taking over that shareholding, and that will give them, in effect, they will then be the 100% owners of breweries, excluding Distel. That was the second bombshell they dropped, and they dropped that one only yesterday. But what's very important to pay attention to is that when a company puts out a cautionary, it is by law or by regulation or stock exchange regulation not allowed to give out any hints.
Yeah.
It has to be very neutral. It sort of has to shroud whatever contents they will reveal later in neutral language. The only idea of a cautionary is we're warning you that we are busy with something. And then at the end of the cautionary, then they say, okay, nothing has happened, the cautionary is cancelled, you can carry on. Or they do like what happened this week. They press that red button and it goes boom, and they said a lot has happened.
Man.
Now, and here we get to sentiment.
Yeah.
If you look at the local index on the Namibia Stock Exchange, what happened? The brewery's share price went up by 22% overnight, from Monday to Tuesday. Within 12 hours, the share price appreciated by about a quarter, 22%.
What does that mean?
That means that everybody is now, all the investors are now chasing brewery shares. They now want to, and you'll see breweries going to rise still some more. It's now more a matter of liquidity.
Yeah.
In other words, availability of shares. And don't look at it in a weird way. If Heineken, who's now the controlling company of that holding company that owns breweries now, remember, a relatively small part of the breweries is listed. I think something like 20%, 1/5 of it. And this was a decision that Mr. Werner List still took about 26, 27 years ago. So it's not a very big part that's listed, but now that Heineken is the 100% owner of it, they can list more of it. And if I look at what happened between Monday and Tuesday, this 22% jump in the share price, I will not be amazed if they announce within the next 6 months that we will list or float is the word. We will make available another 20% publicly for stock exchange trading. And this is not this is a possibility. I'm speculating.
Yes.
But this is all part of sentiment. It tells you something about what people who's got money in the market, what they expect of the direction that it's going to go. And now, just the last part. The nicest thing about sentiment is that there's a saying in investment that a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yes.
So when the whole market is positive, all the shares benefit.
That's right.
And this you saw yesterday on the NSX, where remember now I said breweries went up 22%. The market as a whole went up 9.8% rather. Almost 10%. So you saw that this good news about breweries changed the sentiment, and suddenly the interest in all the other shares improved, and the market went up 9.8%.
There you have it. I hope you understand the relation between sentiment as well as the economy. This has been episode 6 of EconoChat. Let's talk business with Daniel Steinmann. Always a great pleasure being with you in the studio. He is the editor of The Economist, as well as generally an economic analyst as well. So if you missed out on the first part of the conversation and you're just getting onto your radio right now, you can definitely check out the conversation on www.economist.com.na or on our YouTube channel, which is Energy 100 FM Namibia. Until next week for another exciting conversation. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Thank you so much once again, and we're wishing you a good one ahead.
So long.
There you go. It is your power station, Energy 100 FM.